Hi, my name's Heidi Postle. Welcome back to A+ Maths. Today I'd like to continue doing some number plane work. We've already worked out how to plot a line from a table of values. Now I'd like to work out the equation of a line from a table of values. Some people are more naturally gifted at this than others. Some of us, including me, need to have a method to use to work it out. So let's have a look at how we can do that. So on the board, I've prepared 6 table of values that we need to find the equation of the line that represents these tables. Some people might be able to look at the table and see what the equation is going to be straight away. And they're really lucky. And if you're one of those lucky people, then you don't even need to watch this video. You can skip to the next one. Good on you. For those of you who are looking at these going, I have no idea what the equation is and I can't figure it out and I don't even know where to start. That's what I'd like to show you now, a way to work them out. And this works for every linear equation. So any equation that is a straight line. If it's not a straight line, there are ways to work it out, but it's a little bit different. Now remember that the equation of a straight line will always be in the form y equals mx plus b, where we know that m is the gradient, which is rise over run. We've already talked about that a few times, and we know that b is the y-intercept. So of course we're going to use the knowledge that we already know to work out the equation of these 6 lines. If we have a look at number 1, the first thing that I'd like to write down is the equation of a line, because I know that this equation is a line and I know that it should have the form y equals something x plus something. I know that my line will have a gradient and then a y-intercept. And ultimately, that's the only thing that I need to find in these equations that I don't already know. If I did this question, y equals something x plus or minus something. These are the things that I know that I need to find. Only 2 things that I need to find. Let's see. What goes in front of the x? We know that what goes in front of the x should be the gradient. The gradient of a line is rise over run. It's the distance in the y over the distance of the x. Rise over run. If we know that, surely it makes sense that we could say, okay, well, what are these going up by? Aren't they going to be the difference in the y values? They're the y values. So here I need to plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. And what's the difference in the x values? The difference in the x values will be up here, and that's going to be plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So what's the gradient again? Don't we have up here that gradient is rise over run? So I now know that the gradient of my line, this letter in front of this m that would be in front of the x, must be the rise, which in this case is plus 3, over my run, which is plus 1. And that will always give me my gradient of the line. The difference in the y's over the difference in the x's. Now remember, this works only because it's a straight line. And we know that it's a straight line because these numbers are all the same. They could be tricky and try and mix them around, but generally they don't do that. If in the table all the numbers are mixed around, then that makes it a lot more difficult. You either have to put them in the right order or you have to try to figure it out on your own. That makes it more difficult. Let's hope they don't do that anytime soon. Now I should have that my equation of the line is y equals 3x plus my y-intercept, plus or minus my number that goes in here. It'll be plus or minus a number that goes there. But we don't know what that number is yet, or if there is one. So we're going to find one of the coordinates, and you can pick any one of the coordinates. Remember that a coordinate is a pair, 0, 1, or 1, 4, or 2, 7, or 3, 10. And I can pick whichever pair I like. I'm going to pick 0, 1 because the numbers are small and there's a 0 which hopefully will make it easy for me. If I substitute x equals 0 and y equals 1 into the equation that I already have, let's see what I get. Y equals 1, and that's 3 times 0 is 0. But we should all know that 1 doesn't equal 0. I need to think, what do I need to do to make this equation work? How do I make it work? I need to add 1. If I say 1 equals 0 plus 1, that works. That means that I need a plus 1 there. And that's the equation of my line. Plus 1. Let's have a look at another one. I'll get rid of that minus. You may or may not understand that yet. That's okay. We've got 5 more examples for you to get the hang of it. And I guarantee by the end of it, you're going to have the hang of it. We know here y equals something x plus or minus something. Everybody should understand that the number that goes in front of the x is the rise over run, which is the difference in the x's over the difference in the y's. So let's find that first. These numbers here go what? How do I get from minus 4 to minus 6? I need to minus 2. Minus 2, minus 2, minus 2. And here we're going plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So we need to do rise over run. Remember, rise is the y, that's minus 2, and the run is plus 2. So I know straight away that the equation of my line, minus 2 divided by plus 2 is minus 1x. And then I just need to work out this bit over here. And how do I do that? I need to pick a point, any point. So what's the easiest one here? They all look pretty horrible in my opinion because they all have a negative number. So I'll just pick the smallest numbers. X equals 2 and y equals minus 4. So I'm going to put those numbers into the equation that I think it is at the moment. So y equals negative 4 equals minus 1 times 2 is, well, I'll write it down, minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. But of course, minus 4 does not equal minus 2. What do I need to do to minus 2 to get minus 4? Minus 2 equals minus 4. So that has to be minus 2 and that has to be minus 2 to make it all work. And that's the equation of my line. Let's have a look at another one. We start by saying the equation is y equals something x. We figure out the difference in the x's and the difference in the y's. These are going down by 2. And these are going up by 1. So what number goes in front of the x? Rise over run. That's going to be minus 2 over plus 1. And I know I need something here, but I need to substitute in a point to work it out. Well, I might just simplify this first. Y equals minus 2 over 1 is minus 2x. I need to substitute in a point. What's going to be the easiest point, you think, to substitute in? Well, 0 is looking like a nice number to put in, isn't it? So over here I have 0 equals minus 2 times 0. Well, that's pretty good. 0 equals 0. Well, 0 does equal 0. That means that there's nothing to add. I won't need to add anything. So it works. So that's my equation. Let's have a look. Hopefully you're starting to get the hang of it. We have y equals something x plus something. In front of the x is the rise over run. Here we're going up by 1, up by 1, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. And here we're also going up by 1, up by 1, up by 1. And what number goes in front of the x? The rise over run. So it's plus 1 over plus 1. Oh, hopefully we all know that 1 divided by 1 is 1. Now we need to know what goes over here. And how do we do that? We pick a point. Let's pick 1, 4 because that's the smallest. Remember, we can pick any of them, and it's always good to check them at the end. I haven't done that yet because I just don't want to confuse you too much. Y equals x. So x equals 1 and y equals 4. So 4 equals 1. Well, 4 doesn't equal 1. We all know that. What do I need to add to the 1 to make it equal 4? Everybody think plus 3? I need to add plus 3 all the way up to make it correct. And that's the answer. Y equals x plus 3. Are you starting to get the hang of it? If you think you might be, why don't you just pause the video for a second, you have a go at 5 and 6, and then start it again and see whether or not you get them right. Good luck. All right, how did you go with those? Let's see if you got them right. I have y equals something x plus or minus something. These are going up by 4. And these are going up by 2. We're not worried that some of them are going up by different numbers. We just follow the rule. We just follow the pattern and do what we know how to do. We know the number in front of the x is the rise over the run. So that's plus 4 over plus 2, which is y equals 2x. Now what do? Now we pick a pair. I like to pick the smallest one. Remember, there's no reason apart from the fact that I just like the smaller numbers. I have y equals 6 and x equals 2. So I have 6 equals 4. Obviously 6 doesn't equal 4. What do I need to do to the 4 to make it equal, make this statement correct? I need to add 2. So I need to add 2 all the way up, and that becomes the equation of my line. How did you go? Did you get it right? I hope so. If so, you've probably got the next one right too. If you got that one wrong and you can see where you went wrong, that's brilliant. Pause the video just for a second and check your answer to number 6 and fix it before we go through the answer. Let's see how you went. Again, I write down the equation in the form that I know it's going to be in the end. I know these numbers are going a bit tricky. Down by 3, minus 3 to get each one. Minus 4 minus 3 is minus 4. Minus 4 minus 3 is minus 7. That's a little bit tricky. And these numbers are going up 1. My gradient is going to be rise over run. So I know that y equals minus 3x. And of course, my next step is to pick a point and make it work. Again, none of these are very nice. I might just pick the one that has a 0 in it because 0 always makes 0 times anything is 0. So that tends to make things nice or easier. So I know that y equals negative 4 equals minus 3 times 0 is 0. So what do I need to do to 0 to make it equal minus 4? Good, minus 4 if you said that. And so I put minus 4 everywhere. And that's the equation of my line. How did you go with that? Did you get it right? Great. Thanks again for tuning in and watching my video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe below. And if you've got any questions, feel free to shoot me an email to my name, heidipostle@gmail.com. See you soon.